So I've got a couple videos in progress. If you're waiting on an update on the Matrix, I'm still gathering data for that follow-up video. And the suppressor cleaning project is kind of going on in the background. So today I just want to have a little bit of fun and play with the Lee app press. I made a single video over a year ago about it, and that was it. So I've been thinking about pulling it out recently. Well, a viewer named Jason reached out and said he had found a replacement case feeder, which is this right here. And he wanted to 3D print one and send it to me. Well, I looked at the design and I think it's going to cure most of my annoyances with this little press. Whenever you switch from one cartridge to another with this press, you have to adjust the height of this big black thing. You know, this is the same thing. And this is actually not the one that comes with the press. It comes with this one. This is getting confusing, I know. But the press comes with this one. It's got two different like heads with different size tubes and stuff. Well, we replaced that with this Lee factory replacement part that allowed you to use 4 tubes full of cases. But adjustments are pretty much the same, and it's really a pain in the butt, and it's really critical to getting the machine to run properly. This design, however, you set the height one time, and then there are these inserts that slip in just like this. And for example, right there, we would be ready for 9mm. And we just pull that out and switch over to this size, and we're ready for 6.5 Creedmoor without any adjustment necessary. So I want to try this thing out today. Want to run some different size cases through and see how it works. And I think in the process, we'll load up a little bit of 762x39 for the SKS and just go out and have a little bit of fun. I've got a couple old fire extinguishers that need depressurized. Maybe that'll be fun. Now, a very big thanks to Jason. Not only did he print all of this stuff out and send it to me, he also ordered the X-Press shell holder set for me. And I really appreciate that because it wouldn't have even occurred to me. I don't have a full set of shell holders. I only have like 2 or 3. Yeah, I've only got a couple of them. So this is awesome and should cover pretty much everything I need to do. Another thing he sent, which I'm pretty excited about, are these little clips that hold your 4 tubes. These things are a pain in the butt when they're flopping around, so I'm pretty excited about this as well. All right, 2 of those there, and then these should, okay, maybe it'll be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Getting these all lined up. Go in there. Oh, there it went. It's a lot easier when you're not trying to get it on camera. Slide this one down here a little ways. Oh, sweet. That's awesome. I had seen these on Etsy, but didn't order them. So really glad to have them. Now, speaking of like ordering on Etsy and stuff, this thing we're going to be looking at today is not on there. I don't know of anywhere that it's available for sale. The files to print it are available on the Thingiverse. And I think this is the final straw. This is where I've reached the point where I really need to get a 3D printer. There's so many cool things happening with stuff like this, and like back to my Etsy video where we went through all sorts of crazy 3D printed stuff I had bought. It just feels like something that's going to be really useful. I don't want to turn the channel into a 3D printing channel. I'm sure there's a million of those. But having the ability to spit out something like this and fix an annoyance or a problem has reached a point where it's worth the investment. I talked about this a little bit on last week's live stream, and we had talked about it a while back on a live stream on Twitch. I just need to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to do that. If you're watching this on Sunday when it comes out, I'm going to buy a 3D printer tomorrow. So tomorrow night's live stream, by the time it's over, I'm going to hit place order somewhere. Now, Jason had mentioned he had printed these on the Creality Ender 3 version 2. And I remember last time I talked about this, that one came up as a recommendation, and it seems like there was one other. I had some notes, but if you've got any 3D printer advice, I'd love to hear it down in the comments, or stop by the live stream tomorrow night at 8. This is January 24th, 2022 is whenever we're talking about. So if you're watching this a year from now, it's too late. I probably already bought that one you hate. All right, let me rearrange the camera and we'll get this thing mounted first. I guess I should probably pull those off for a minute. So back in the first video, this is the base of this thing. Like, yeah, right here, this is what we're looking at. In the first video, this was a pain in the butt, and I had put these split washers in there, which really wasn't helpful. Let's see if I can manage to pop this loose. There we go. Now, what I had bought to use instead of these little split lock washers was some nylon washers I was going to try. I'm not sure whether to try those on the new setup or not. We can start without them. Drop it down just a little bit, enough to get the bottom nut started. Yeah, maybe we'll be okay. So I guess, you know, the obvious downside to this design is you need a separate insert for all of the different things you're going to want to load. And I think he printed out one of everything they have, or, you know, everything they had a file for. And I saw in the comments on the Thingiverse page, they seem to respond pretty quickly whenever you ask for a cartridge that isn't listed. Because I think this 7.5 by 55 insert was from a pretty recent comment. Because not really knowing anything about how this crap works, I'm not sure how easy it is to edit designs yourself. But okay, back to 7.5 by 55 Swiss. This is actually the one that's for the longest case. So if we slide this one in here, and then we get a piece of 7.5 by 55 brass, which I've got back here, we should be able to see, yeah, I think this is going to need everything we can give it. Yeah, so right now we need about that much. We need it high enough so the case mouth slides under there. Let's see if I can just use my, wrong direction. Let's try the other way. A little farther. That looks pretty close. Okay, and then I guess I just square it up and tighten it down, which there's no hope of me getting this on camera. Just got to do what I got to do here, folks. Okay. Now that I get it tightened down, do you have room to get this out of there? Around the handle? The handle's in the way. Okay, maybe if I drop that. There it is. Maybe. Yep, you got to have that handle just right for it to clear. But it does clear. So let me see if I can find the 9mm. There it is. This is the shortest case I'm going to be loading. So let's see how close it is. If I can figure out how to get it in here. Oh, okay. It kind of slides like that. Not a lot of room, but there's enough. Now, there's screw holes here where you're supposed to put screws. Jason found that the Hornady decapping pins slid down in there pretty well. He said that's what he was using. And he even sent me a couple. Okay, now we need a piece of 9mm brass, and it should be just about the right height. Got some right here. And, that looks like a lot of space. Let's try 7.62 by 39 instead. That guy comes out. Twists around. And there's that one. And here's our piece of 7.62 by 39. If I can get it centered. Okay, clearly a big gap there as well. So maybe this one for 7.5 by 55 is what's off. I don't know. But I wanted to check it on both extremes. The very shortest versus the very longest. So, all right, let me readjust it here for 7.62 by 39, which I need to start out with loosen it up. Loosen it up just a smidge. I'm going to go ahead and put that plastic washer on there. Just at least one here on the bottom. It's just with no washers in there, it goes from loose to tight so rapidly. Okay, down just a little bit. That looks pretty close. Flip it over and tighten. That just feels better. That just feels better with that nylon washer in there. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. So it'll come down through the tube and land right there. Wait, I'm a moron. You're supposed to be setting this height with the case in that position. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Loosen it back up. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense right there. Let's see, is that about right? Yeah, let's try that real quick. All right, let's try to actually run a case through here. So it'll come down to there. That thing goes back. And then the case drops. And then it pushes forward. And slams into my poorly aligned shell holder. Okay, good. So now let's go back through them. Or at least let's switch to 9mm again and see what our clearance looks like. Speaking of clearance, there's only just a little bit down there on the bottom. that's enough, I think. Okay, here's a 9mm case in there. Straighten out the shell holder this time. Okay, cool. Doesn't fit properly, but see what that clearance actually looked like. That's just about the same amount we had with 7.62 by 39. Sweet. Okay, let me go back to 7.5 by 55 and we'll see what it looks like. Yep, that's just not going to work. Okay, hopefully it's just a problem with that one insert. Let's grab a couple others. Okay, this one is for 223. Let me grab a piece of brass. Actually, I'll grab a couple different pieces of brass. Okay, here's 223. Looks like I'm just a little bit short for 223. I mean, just a couple thousandths. I'm not going to move it yet. I'm going to try a couple more with it in this position. Here is 45 ACP. Drop one of these through. That did not want to go through. Give it a little poke from the top maybe. There it went. Yeah, definitely some friction there in the 45. Let's see if it drops down enough. Can't tell if my jaws are in the way or if it's just not wanting to fall. No, it's the jaws. Yeah, my jaws just aren't quite adjusted correctly. Yep, we're good to go there with the 45 ACP. Let's try 308. I bet you it's a little bit too long as well. Just got that feeling. See if it falls through freely. Yeah, that one fell through. No problem. So that's either way off or I accidentally grabbed that 7.5 by 55 brass again. Nope, that is 308. That is the 308 insert. Yeah, it's all the way down, right against the bottom, and pretty much the whole neck is up in there. Okay, tell you what just dawned on me. I think I'm being stupid here, maybe. Let's try the 6.5 Creedmoor. I assume this one's going to be way off as well. See if it drops through. Yep, it dropped through. Same deal as 308. Okay, I think I know what's going on. Or no? Hang on. No, what I was thinking was that you needed different sizes of these. So this part right here, there are different heights of risers that snap in there and change the height of this part. But that doesn't change, you know, this, which is where the case drops down into, right? That's a fixed distance from that black piece to the top there. Isn't it? Am I losing my mind here? Just for fun, let's do a 300 blackout. And if the pattern continues, I bet this one is going to be just fine because 7.62 by 39 was fine. Okay, it went through fine. Falls down fine, and it clears fine. What am I doing here? I'm going to turn off the camera and think about this for a minute. Am I doing something stupid? So I still don't have an explanation, but I pulled out a piece of brass for every single insert that I have brass available for, and all of them are the same except for 3. So the way I quickly checked it, so here's the 9mm. We know we need this case mouth to just barely clear right there. So if I hold the case like that, this measurement right here from the base of the plate to the end of the case should be roughly the same, right? And as I go through them, they are. So here's 223, pretty darn close. So they're all like that except for 7.5 by 55 Swiss, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 308. Here's the 7.5 by 55, and we're not even close, right? But if I readjust my calipers to about the length of this guy and then lock it down, there's the Creedmoor, pretty close to the same. And I'm hoping this 308 is the same as well. I haven't checked it yet. Yep. So that's the same. So I don't know, maybe this is something dumb that I'm missing. But if it is, I'm not catching it. But really this isn't too bad, right? I'll just need to keep in mind that whenever I'm doing the longer cases, I'll need to readjust. I'm going to be honest with you. This is the sort of press I'm going to pull out whenever I'm doing smaller cases, usually. Okay, so for the time being, I'm going to put those 3 away. We'll go ahead and mount this thing up and try to run some different cases through it. Another thing I was looking at, you know, so these drop down out of the tube through here. So they need to go through here pretty easily. And I know I've run into at least 2 that don't really fit. So far, so good with those. Here's 45. I think this is the one. Nope. Perfect. 223, 9mm, 300 blackout, 7.62 by 39, 224 Valkyrie, 38 special, and 357. Okay, so what that tells me is it wasn't a problem with the insert. I probably had an alignment, like whenever I had those cases that didn't want to fall through, I probably just didn't have this aligned just right. Which this has really nice ball detents, and the Thingiverse page has an Amazon link where you can buy those, and it's got information about all the different other hardware you need. But it feels good. It feels like it locks into place pretty well as you rotate it around. So I don't know, keep an eye on it. All right, let's get mounted up. We'll run some cases through it, see if we can get it working. Then we'll load up that 7.62 by 39. Okay, let's start out with 9mm, see if we can get some of these to run through. I've got the right shell holder installed. Put my little decapping pin in there as a keeper. Just grab a decapping die, standard universal decapping die. Okay, that ought to work. Need to install my bottle to catch the primers. Like that. Line up my shell holder, and I think we're good. Okay, that should be everything, unless we need to adjust the timing on the jaws. I'm going to put 3 in the tube. 2 and 3. And let's see what happens here. Fell down in. Pushes forward. There comes the next one. I need to get my little bin. There it is. This will sit hanging off the front of the bench to the side like that. So the next one should kick it off. And there we go. Sweet. Let's put some more in here. Okay, so that's most of a tube full right there. So let's see if all these will run. All right, man, that's slick. Okay, next let's switch to some 38 specials. Pull out my little pins. Swap in the insert. Swap in the number 1 shell holder. And away we go, hopefully. Let's try 5 of them. Okay, so I'm switching over to 7.62 by 39, but we might need to change plans here because I do not have the shell holder for 7.62 by 39 or 6.5 Grendel or 6 PPC or 6mm arc. That bolt face uses the number 12 Lee shell holder, which doesn't come in the kit, so I need to order that. So I think we can get away with using a regular shell holder. We're not going to be able to use all of the feeding functions, but I think we can get by here. Let's try a couple. It should load it. Oh, it helps to change the insert, you ding dong. This is definitely a pain in the butt whenever you do something stupid like this. Okay, I only spilled 2. Okay, it was 3. Okay, out with the old insert. In with the new one. You know, these inserts fit pretty nicely. You know, I'm sure they probably wear in and get loose over time. But here, while it's new, like, it doesn't even feel like I need the little retainer pins. Okay, let's try this again. It's not quite going all the way into the shell holder. And then at that point, I think you have to lift it and slip it out of there before the next one comes in. Okay, we'll try it out. I was going to switch over, like maybe switch to 300 blackout. We'll just do what we got to do. So sled comes back, case goes forward. Maybe we give it a little push just to make sure it goes all the way on. And then we move on, maybe. Oh, I'm an idiot. Man, I'm an idiot. All right, let's see if I can fix this. That one's done. This one still needs done. Okay, I think we're good. Just got to remember to reach in there and grab it. As we go. I should have just gone ahead and installed my sizing die and just decapped during sizing, but I didn't, which is okay. All right, we'll go ahead and pull this one out. I sprayed these cases a few minutes ago with some RCBS case slick. So here's our sizing die. I'm not going to try and get cute with sizing here, but I do want to just check my shoulder bump and make sure that I am going to be bumping the shoulder a little bit. This brass was previously fired in my gun, so it all should be pretty close. Move everything back up to our tube. All right, moving all the cases back up to the tube, and we'll see if we can get them through this sizing process. Alignment looks good. And then down. Yep, that bumped it almost 5 thousandths, so that's good. So I'm definitely having to, babysit them through our shell holder workaround, but that's okay. That's pretty common for the, I guess you'd call it the 220 Russian case head, the 7.62x39 case head, all of our Grendel stuff. I don't think that shell holder is included in any of the Lee, like their Auto Prime kit or their standard shell holder kits. You've always got to order that guy separately. All right, this is the last one. Okay, we're resized. I'm going to use a little bit of alcohol and wipe the lube off of these cases real quick. So I'm going to shoot the 123 grain Hornady Full Metal Jacket. We've shot this bullet in the SKS with a couple of other powders. Accuracy's pretty poor, but the gun's been functioning well. But one powder I haven't tried is IMR 4198. That's what I'm going to load up today. I'm just going to load up 10 of them. We'll use 23.0 grains of IMR 4198. Let me double check the manual. Going out of the Hornady manual for their 123s. Yep, they show a 24.6 grain max. So hopefully we're safe at 23. 2.2 inches of overall length, S&B brass, and CCI 200 primers. I'm not going to trim unless I have to. Was it 1.523? Looks like our max is 1.528. I'm going to open up my calipers to 1.528, and then the rest of them I'm just going to... Oh no, very first one. It's too long. Dang it. Yep, second one as well. No big deal. I've got this that I picked up a while back. the case length gauge and shell holder for 7.62 by 39. That'll make this pretty quick. I just need to find a cutter and a lock stud. Hey, let's get fancy. Use one of the wooden handles. It's always a little bit of a pain in the butt to get these screwed in all the way, right? Very, very important that you close that gap completely. Or maybe I'm just getting weak in the fingers in my old age. Should be able to grab it here around the writing because the critical surface doesn't really start until there, right? There we go, that was easy. Didn't even booger it up too bad. Okay, shell holder onto the lock stud and that into the drill. Since that's the first one I've ever trimmed with this setup, I probably should measure it and double check, make sure we're in good shape. 1.520, and our trim length is 1.518. In the manual, that's what it says. So that's perfect. Okay, so the case mouths are all cleaned up, and I guess we're ready for primers. Use the RCBS Universal since I've got it handy. And off we go. Since it's only 10 charges, I'm just going to scoop it straight out of the can with a scoop. Close enough. Might as well do a quick check. It's 20. That's perfect. Here's 30. That's perfect. You can't see because of the glare, whatever. It's good. Let's see, 23.0 is our target. There it is, looks good. Case fill looks really good, right at about the shoulder. I guess the first step, we ought to change the die. That seems important. And I guess for the seating die, I should have a case in here. Then we can screw the die down until it touches. Right about there, and I'll back off of that about a turn and then lock down the die. Okay, we're in business. Get a bullet up in there. Okay, I think it's started. Yep, should be able to make crude adjustments until the cantilever starts looking a little bit closer to what it's supposed to be. Oops, may have gone too far. A little bit too far. All right, not that bad, 2.184, so I'm about 15 thousandths short. I'm actually going to go ahead and just shoot that. 15 thousandths ain't much. Shouldn't really matter. I did go ahead and back the die out a little bit, so let's see where this one is. That looks better. 2.197. Good enough for me. All right, tighten down that adjustment and we're good. Now, one thing I should have mentioned earlier, this 7.62 by 39 insert is going to work for 6.5 Grendel and 6mm arc as well. I think the case length is close enough, so I think it should work. I know I'll forget to do it once we're out on the range, so I guess I should probably summarize my experience now. This little kit makes it much more likely for me to pull this press out and use it more often. The jaw timing is still set pretty good from that last time, right? I mean, everything we were messing with today seemed to be feeding okay. So when the jaw timing is good and it's not that big of a deal to swap out these inserts, the whole setup just seems a lot less daunting. Okay, last one. Let's get out to the range. So I actually found 3 of these I need to get rid of. That one's right at the bottom, that one's already gone red, and that one's right on the line. From what I can tell, it tells you to discharge the unit before discarding. So this seems like a fun way to do it. Now this is not the ideal weather to try and make a spectacular display of white powder. We'll still be able to see something. I'm gonna put them down there in that brown patch. All right, a couple of different camera angles running here. Okay, hopefully 10 shots is enough. I'll start out with the one in the center, see if I can hit it. Nice. All right, let's get the others. That was about as good as I hoped for. I wasn't sure if they had much left in them. Check out the carnage here. All right, that was fun and productive. Appreciate you joining me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Maybe we'll even shoot some groups.